XXL's the breakers for all you aspiring rappers who need a little help getting on. This is the place to get all the info on how to make it in hip-hop from some of the biggest and most experienced names in the game, like me, your dope boy Troy Ave. Pay attention as special guests drop knowledge to help you become a star. This is XXL's The Break Podcast.
What's up? This is Vanessa with XXL here with Miranda Johnson for the Break Podcast. Miranda, what's the topic?
Topic is Drama at Bay, episode 11.
Right, keeping the drama away, basically. More popular and famous and more celebrity you get and everything, the more people want to create problems for you. The media is on you more, so there's some drama. You know, they're bothering you about your love life. They're bothering you about your lawsuits. They're bothering you about your beef with your cousin, all that kind of stuff. So for this, we have three great people that we spoke to. Former XXL freshman Big Sean, who's also on our cover right now. Former XXL freshman Kevin Gates, who's not on our cover right now, and he's pissed off about that, but whatever. And Cortez Bryant, manager to Lil Wayne, G-Eazy, a whole bunch of people. You know who he is. So let's start. Let's see what Big Sean has to say. Are you surprised with the bullshit that's come along with the fame?
I mean, I knew it was gonna be more than I expected just getting into it. You know what I mean? That's what any career you go into, you're gonna run into things you didn't even expect. You know what I mean? But there's been so much crazy shit. Just I know when I got in, I would try hiring my dog, like my boys. You know what I mean? To be road managers to jobs they didn't really know nothing about, and I not only jeopardized my career so many times, but it's just like things just weren't as efficient as they should have been, as tight as they would have been. You know what I mean? And so sometimes in different situations that works, and I think that's why I was optimistic about it. But it's been bullshit from that. It's been bullshit from labels. It's been bullshit from, things. It's a real political game. You know what I mean?
I think it's a huge part. People don't understand the politics and they kind of laugh at it, but that how much politics really hinder you sometimes from doing things that you want to do because of those relationships.
Yeah, and that goes with any field of it. It goes from labels to everywhere. Labels, radio, editorial. It goes across the board, and it's just like nobody wants to deal with a fucking dickhead. Don't nobody like that shit. You know what I mean? And
how do you stay focused if you've got people bothering you about this is going on, or you've got to get rid of this person in your crew, or you've got paparazzi bugging you or something, or media, or you set a line and people think it meant something that it didn't, or whatever. How do you figure out? How do you not get discouraged?
You do get discouraged. I don't think there is no not getting discouraged. The thing is, do you let the discourage throw you off? Do you let it stop the ship, or do you keep it going? You gotta regroup. You gotta really be in tune with yourself. I say spiritually too, because it takes faith. It takes like a vision. It takes like positivity to really like rise above the bullshit, man. And you got to be righteous with it. At least that's from my experience. As far as you could pick any field, and I could tell you like whether it's friends working for me, whether it's having to fire people, whether it's like having to change whether, no matter what you go through, everybody's journey is different, but what you got to remember is you the only person who knows what's best for you. Somebody can give you the best advice, the worst advice, but I've taken other people's advice sometimes when I felt my heart should have gone another way, and it has failed for me. And when it does fail, it's the worst fail, because you didn't do it on your own word, and you knew in your heart and your instinct, that instinct that God gives you, that you knew that you were like supposed to do what you were supposed to do, and you ended up listening to somebody who thought they know what they were talking about, and they didn't know shit. And then there's times when you followed your heart and it worked out 100% right, and that's the best feeling in the world. And there's times where you follow your heart and it didn't work out, but at least that feels better, because at least you did what you wanted to do and you was expressing yourself how you needed to. And everything's a part of a bigger plan, too. You know what I mean?
Was there ever a point that anything happened in your career where you felt like, maybe this isn't for me, maybe I don't want to do this, or, thought twice about the decision to be a rapper?
Early on when them frustrations, when them walls feel
But
like
that's
they
who you're
close.
talking to is early on.
Yeah,
That's
early
that's the
on.
people we're talking to.
Early on, when them walls feel like they closing in on you, when it just feel like, man, I thought that last year was gonna be the year. I thought this year was gonna be the year. I thought the year before. You know when just things just keep not working out for you, man. That's when that true faith comes in, man. I feel like, and that's faith. It's either faith in yourself, faith in your craft, faith in your work. The thing is, the biggest lesson I learned is that you have to cause some type of demand. You can't expect any type of success in any business if you don't give somebody a reason to want to buy into your business, or a reason, or offer something that nobody else is offering, or doing it a way that's different, or bringing something new to the table, or something fresh, or and it doesn't have to be a complete different thing. It just has to be something that people gravitate towards. You know what I'm saying? And that, I think, is a big challenge for just new artists, for just people trying to get their business off the ground. But it's definitely possible. And you really have to be smart, strategize. A great team is necessary. You can't do. There's no way that one person can do. Even if you see one person on that stage, there's 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 people behind that, making that one person on stage happen. So you got to remember that. You can't be bullheaded. You got to be open-minded. You got to be able to step outside the box and look at things from a different perspective, and not just the tunnel vision that you have. And, if you just keep that mindset, it's bound to happen. It's bound to pop off, at least to some extent.
What's your break time? What's your getaway? You don't have to meditate, but some people meditate. Maybe you do.
Yeah, I
But
do.
what's your meditation process, or what's the thing that relaxes you, that makes you say, to exhale, you know what I mean? And to relax, and to put really the bullshit aside, to focus on whatever you want and be a little happy. What do you do?
I hardly take any breaks, man. I don't do vacations. I don't really. The only thing I went on one vacation in my life. I don't know why. I think I will start taking vacations one day, but I just feel like it's such a precious time. I know a lot of people feel like that. It's such a clutch time. You know what I'm saying? To make sure you on your shit, on your job. But every day I meditate, man. I have to, because it gives me time to. I really meditate before I go into the studio, because there be so much stuff on my mind, so many issues sometimes, family issues, you know, parents, brothers, cousins.
With the successes everybody pulled at you and wanted from you?
Yeah,
And
for
have
sure.
you dealt with that?
For sure. And you deal with it in your own way. You just got to be able to communicate. One thing you can't be afraid of is to communicate and be clear up front, man. That's going to save so many fucking hours of stress, so many, like, people's times if you just up front with them and don't beat around the bush. It was so hard for me to have to fire people, so hard for me to have to fire my best friend, to the point where I would have him lingering around, and just like, instead, and it's my fucking business, man. And I was lucky enough to still get an opportunity to do well, but that wasn't guaranteed. Thanks to God, that wasn't guaranteed for me, man. But it happened. But I really learned that lesson, that you have to be upfront, save people's time. But as far as meditating, I meditate every day. I usually do it when I wake up, because it just clears my head, and I need my head clear right before I go into that creative process. And it takes like 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
What do you think new artists get caught up on that they shouldn't get caught up on early? That you thought was a big deal early on, it really isn't now.
They shouldn't get caught up on. Everybody process is different. For me, I couldn't get caught up in drugs and shit like that, because I'm not good operating on, like, being high as fuck all the time. But you ask Wiz,
Yeah.
it's gonna be the opposite.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or if you ask whatever. But for me, I just knew, it's a time and place. My biggest thing that I was getting caught up in is that I had to put in perspective that there's a time and place for everything. You know what I'm saying? There's a time for business. There's a time to party. There's a time for this, and you got to make those times. But you have to, like, really be a decision and not be influenced by that peer pressure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's one thing that'll take you out the game, is that peer pressure. and just you really gotta be one with yourself, man. That is so important. I've talked to people. I remember I was talking to Royce the 5'9". I remember, he was telling me when he got his first deal, how he was just drinking too much, partying too much, and he was just like, man, I just wasn't focused. I didn't have a mindset.
You can miss the opportunity, yeah.
That I have now. He was like, luckily I got a second chance. He doing his thing, and he did the album with M. But it was just, he was saying that he admired how focused I was. He saw my focus, and he was like, when I was that young, it wasn't the same. But that's just an example. I mean,
you dealt with some paparazzi because of girls that you've dated and had some of that bullshit.
mm-hmm.
Was that cool, or was that something that was a pain in the ass to have to get around? That's something that comes with stardom. How was that experience for you? Everyone up in your business and wanting to be involved that way, that could work positive because it gets you more press, or it could work negative because it gets in the way of everything.
I think that's fuck shit if you look at it like getting more press. I think, man, shit. I personally, it ain't about the press, but what was annoying is just that, like, well, it wasn't really. Of course, it's annoying because you don't expect the shit. It's like a surprise, but you just gotta distance yourself. One thing is you can't. I read this in the Four Agreements. This book I
know the Four Agreements. My mom gave it to me.
Yeah.
And you know how many rappers tell me about the Four Agreements, and I'll be like, really? You read the Four Agreements?
You can't take anything personal, man.
Yeah.
And that includes good or bad. You can't take it personal because that shit will fuck up your whole day. It'll fuck up your whole week. It'll fuck up your whole career. It'll fuck up your whole mindset. So I literally learned to not pay attention to what anybody's saying and to just stay focused on what I'm doing, hungry, and as far as like, paparazzi, press and all that, that's just something that I've learned to deal with over time, and just take it for what it is, and just know that whether it's good or bad, they'll flip on you in a second. You know what I mean? People will turn your back on you real fucking quick. That phone will stop ringing if they don't like that new album, if they don't like that new single. Half them phonies out there are not gonna be smiling in your face, and that press ain't gonna be there. So it's just like, I don't give a fuck about the press. What I give a fuck about is the people. That's the people. The press ain't buying my shit. You know what I mean? They not.
No, they're getting it for free.
Yeah, they're getting it for free. It's
Yeah.
the people who buying it. That's the reason my last album went platinum, was the people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I just keep them as like, as a priority for me, and I don't really care about the press and shit like that.
Anything else you want to add for advice for new artists, whether it's to keep the bullshit away and stay focused, or just in general? And this is new artists, like, next door neighbor artists. This isn't someone who's really got their foot in the game yet. This is like trying to decide, if this is what I want to do. Is this really what I should be focusing on?
I can tell you that it is taking way more. Making music is the fun part, and performing is the fun part. For the most part, it's fun to see the people who got love for your music, who want to come out and support you. But I'm gonna keep it 100. Everything else about this industry is fucking work. Everything is work. It'll drive you crazy. It's been times where I've had to like really fall back and like read books and shit, and like talk to my family and my mom, because I will start feeling some type of way, and it'll make you a different person. And it's so political, and I'm not a politician, so I didn't know I had to deal with politics getting into this. And
now you are.
Yeah. And now you just got to be so secure with yourself, man. So that's my advice to new artists: to be secure with yourself. Know that you got to create a demand some type of way. Know that nothing's given to you. You got to earn it, because everybody knows somebody who doing something that you're doing, and I think that they can do it better. You got to always remember that, and be fucking ready to work and open-minded. And don't be a dick, man. These dickheads is the ones that fall off out here, the ones that don't last long. I'm not saying not to be who you are. I'm a righteous guy on my own. I'm who I am, but I be who I am whether I'm rapping or not. So you just got to make sure you be who you are. You know what I mean? And righteous, easy to work with. Everybody loves people that's easy to work with, man.
All right, so Miranda, what did you think about Sean?
Well, I got that he's taken one vacation out of his whole time being famous. What the hell, bitch?
I thought he was on vacations all the time.
Yeah,
It was him and Ariana Grande on the beach, all hugged up, and then the other
Really
girl
not.
or whatever. Apparently not. No, apparently he's a workaholic, I guess.
Yeah, I see why he meditates. I would need to meditate too if I took one vacation.
But he is that kind of character. You know, you could see him, like doing the Russell Simmons on the beach and stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I thought what was interesting that he offers, that for this whole thing of, and he's had some fame and had some drama, a good example of this, and is, he had the relationship with Ariana Grande, he had the relationship with, can't remember the other chick's name, but the woman from Glee, right?
Yeah.
So we had a lot of public drama there, where you can't just have a relationship, people are in your face. Now, sure, if you're dating another celebrity, that happens also, but still, with fame comes, more money, more problems. It always comes down to that. So I think Sean's big key was don't let discouragement throw you off. No matter what you're working on, whatever's going on, whether that discouragement be the media, the paparazzi, girlfriend drama, family drama, don't let it throw you off from your overall goal. We're making intense eye contact right now, you and I. Don't let it throw you off your overall goal. That it takes faith, it takes a vision, it takes positivity, it takes all those things to keep you on track and not have you deviate and get caught up in the drama.
For real. And I love what he said, kind of almost, you are the master of your own destiny. Whether there'll be drama, there'll be, disappointments, but it's your choice to keep going, to keep moving forward in hip hop with anything. So I love how he kind of,
all of his stuff, I think, is not just hip hop advice. It's a lot of life advice. It's communication. We talk in just the office and how many times things can go wrong because of lack of communication.
Right.
Or with your friends or with so and so. So being able to communicate, which doesn't mean you just need to know how to use a phone. It means that when you have to communicate, when you should tell somebody this isn't happening or this is, when it's on you to reach out versus when the manager is supposed to reach out. There's all those different elements of who, what, where, when, why, and how, more than just, you need to be able to pick up the phone.
Exactly.
Another aspect of what he threw in there is that there's a place and time for everything and everyone. So it's you finding that out and you controlling it. Very much for Sean, it was like you're controlling your domain. You're controlling everything that's going on. It's on you to decide how it works. And he puts the power in your hands or in his hands, which I think is interesting. All right, so Big Sean gave us some stuff there. All right, let's see what Kevin Gates, who's a trip. Oh, no, we're not doing Gates. We're going to hear what Cortez has to say. Gates is still a trip, but let's see what Cortez says.
Tell us a little bit about right now, who are you managing, what are you working on, and who have you managed in the past?
Right now, we're managing on our roster. We just made this crazy merger for our management company called Maverick, and directly who my partner G and I oversee directly with Maverick is Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, T.I., co-manager with Jason Cheater, G-Eazy, The Roots, Jill Scott. Feel like I'm forgetting somebody.
That's a pretty impressive roster. It's all good.
Yeah. Guys. Yeah. And formerly managed Drake, had him from the beginning of his career for the first 5-6 years.
Right. So you've seen a lot of different artists at a lot of different stages of their career. Wayne early on, G-Eazy early on, a lot of them, later in their careers. What would you say, one thing that we noticed that comes up as a issue for artists is them kind of taking all the kind of bullshit that arises, drama at home, drama with their boys who are a little bit jealous of them, all that kind of stuff, and, having it fog kind of the direction they're going in. What's the biggest problem you see with a new artist staying focused and being caught up in all the drama, all the girls pulling at them lately, the opportunity to be on the road and play around or that kind of stuff? What's the first thing you kind of tell an artist to focus on?
I mean, I think that history has told itself in the music business, and it's not going anywhere. I think Biggie said it best with the song "More Money, More Problems." I don't think artists usually get caught up in all the hassles of peer pressure and the tag-alongs and the women until they actually see some type of success. But Lord knows when that success comes. In the beginning, I try to tell these guys, I try to warn them before they even go, and I take an example with Drake, you know, before he was able to pop, you know, he kind of, out of every artist I managed, he probably was the one artist who took off the fastest from out of all of the group, you know. So, and I saw it coming rapidly, and I was warning him basically of everything that he was going to have to endure, you know.
What are those things that they have to endure? What are the biggest things? You know, with more money come more problems. What more problems? You can't trust your friends. Your family pulls at you. What are those kind of things? That
I mean, a lot of them, you know, especially in the hip hop community, a lot of rappers deal with family first because, you know, a lot of their stories are the same. You know, it's usually, you know, it's usually rappers coming from nothing and making it big. You know, from rags to riches. So the first people that you're going to deal with, which is kind of gets them caught off guard and it's shocking. And I mean, even myself as a manager, you know, is dealing with relationships with family. You know, you go see people coming outside of the blue, you know, coming out of the blues, you know, with the perception that you have freaking $500 million and not really knowing the ins and out of the business and how much, you know, this music business really generates, you know. So I think that's probably the hardest thing to manage because, you know, to see a person who you think, you know, is in it for you because they genuinely love you, and then you see their false intentions. That money brings out a whole lot of evil, and you see the real truth in people. You know, you see it when you get it, and you definitely see it during the hard times. You know, when everybody disappear. I kind of seen both tiers over the years that I've been managing, but to manage that process could really take a psychological strain because these are, you know, you deal with people you genuinely care about, and when you find out, if you ever find out that it's ill will and false intentions, you know, it could hurt you the most. You know, other than that, you know, the women gonna be there. You're gonna live that lifestyle and try, you know, and to tag along friends. You're gonna find new friends that just want to be in your circle, want to be, you know, just hanging out, you know, along for the ride. You know, what I tell most of these artists with that case, with the latter, with the women in the extra entourage and the 50 people, you know, that's when it's gonna hit them in their pocket. That's when it's gonna hurt because at the end of the day,
they're responsible for that, right?
Right, they're gonna be responsible. Yeah, you taking care of grown men, hotel rooms and meals, and those things add up. You know, not outside of gifts. You know, just to travel with large entourages and large parties, you know, add up. But some of my artists have to learn the hard way. You know, Wayne at the beginning of his career started out rolling the quote unquote cash money way with plenty people now. And now you see him. Everybody that's rolling with him has a job. You know, we learned the hard way from that. You know, waking up and knowing and seeing that you've blown millions of dollars, you know, on hotels and travel for extra tag along for dead weight. Basically, people not really, you know, doing anything. So, you know, artists like Wayne, he welcomes all his friends if they're like in the same city as them, or you know, or if we're in the city, you know, come hang out. But as far as traveling and just tag along, he doesn't do anymore. Everybody who travels with him this day and age, as he's seasoned right now, is someone who has a job description that has a purpose out there on the road. I think most artists realize that as the years go by, you know, after they see the financial impact, you know, if, you know, in the beginning they want to just show all, you know, it'd be out of goodwill, you know, they want to show all their boys and they want to show their boys, you know, the time that they're experiencing, you know, get them out of their cities, get them out of their neighborhoods to show them a different life. But at the end of the day, that comes at a cost, you know.
Right.
And you got to be careful of you got to be careful when you're doing things like that, because you wake up and you'll be broke.
And you got to remember that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you got to remember that they're a reflection of you. So if you go and you're in Cincinnati for the night and your boy gets in trouble at your camp, the headline's going to reflect your name,
God.
right?
Oh, yeah, that's a whole nother. There's so many dynamics of this that we could go into. Most definitely, because, yeah, something goes wrong. If one of the entourage, we out in the party, we out somewhere in the public, one of the entourage get into it with somebody, get in an altercation with somebody, that somebody is not going to say that entourage member did this to me. You know, they'll go straight after whoever the artist is, you know.
Right.
And then you're in court fighting lawsuits with a whole lot more money, you know. So we've been down that road plenty of times also.
Right.
You know, dealing with
what's the message? I mean, how do you, you know, besides having to go down the road again, or, you know, if you were to pick up a new artist now and you were working with somebody, to avoid those roads, what would be some of the things that you would tell them? You know, sometimes people have to learn on their own, especially when it involves having a good time. Taking your boys on the road or doing all that involves a good time. But what would be the most important things you would try to express that would give them the 2 cents of how to avoid some of that drama?
I mean, I would express to them to keep their circle, you know, as we're moving and as you're moving through your career, to keep your circle to the people who have purpose, you know, out there. People who are really serving the purpose for you, you know. There could be times when you want to treat your boys, vacations. There's nothing wrong with that, but nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't take that from them, but I was like, you know, as you're traveling and handling business day to day, make sure that everyone out there has a purpose, you know, and are adding value to the brand and what's going on, you know, bringing some type of, you know, working on something. You know, even if whether it's an assistant, publicist, camera guy, bag boy, somebody, you know, doing something to make sure that everything is moving, you know.
But say you have your 10 friends and you want to take them on the road with you, or you want to take them wherever you're going. Sometimes you might have a few of those boys who just might not be cut out for whatever title you want to give them, right? I mean, not always will you be able to give your boy a title or give him a label or something. Sometimes there might be somebody who's more qualified for the job and you're just doing it to bring your friends along, right?
That's a challenge. That's also a challenge in hiring family and friends. Definitely a challenge that I've seen also, you know. Like I said, we could go into all kind of dynamics of this. Yeah, I mean, hiring family and friends is a whole different dynamic just because, right. You know, a lot of people don't understand the dynamic of business and the personal side and separating it, you know. It's hard for your close friends and family to, you know, look at you in a different way when they grew up at looking at you one way all the time. You know, when it comes down to running a business, you know, it may be things that come out that's totally different. You know, you have to be a total different person in maintaining a productive business and keeping your career going, you know. So that's definitely a pickle. I think a lot of artists deal with that also, because the first thing they want to do is put their boys on, get their boys a check, you know.
Right. If your life is changing, why not change theirs, right?
Yeah. So, you know, then they realize they always put themselves in the head like, oh man, some of them have the wrong intentions. You know, they may just want to be out for the party and not look to not take the job seriously as you know the artist may want them, and most of the time is not respecting them as the bosses that they are. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, these guys that pay you are your boss, just like any other 9 to 5 that you would have. You know, there's rules and responsibilities anywhere else you'll work. You know, so that's definitely a hard dynamic. You know, and I know I've seen a lot of my artists, damn near all of them, that's hired people that's close to them and fired people close to them just because of that. You know, just because they're too comfortable. You know, they don't respect me as a business person because, you know, we have this relationship, or they get in their feelings and they take it away, you know, they take it very personal when the artists go off on them because they feel entitled, you know, since they're friend and they shouldn't be talked to like that, when usually it's all out of good and all out of you know, just positives for the business. My artists usually have I think all of them, you know, I'm kind of attracted to the same type of artists when it comes to personality. They all have big hearts. So I've seen them hire again, hire again, for a little while, fire the same friends, you know, keep giving them opportunities just because, you know, but it's a changing process, and that's a whole nother dynamic. We go into all different type of dynamics of things that these new guys shouldn't do coming in or be weary of coming in as they're building their empires up.
Right, because it's the Wild West these days.
Right.
So the Cortez stuff is interesting because he talks about family things, and family is a big part of your success. Usually he said the first thing you deal with is family drama or family stuff. Family not really being able to understand how much you're making, what your success, what your new change in life is. And those are some of the first things that you can start dealing with as far as drama goes. I mean, besides your love life, girls, and all that stuff, when it comes down to the real nitty gritty, all that family stuff and who needs money and who needs this and what their new expectations are on you, and you kind of setting that tone of what your role is going to be. It's like you won the lottery all of a sudden, and what's everybody expect from you. So I think that, that's what Cortez has seen a lot over the years, or seen a lot of artists struggle with, is what do you do with your family, and how do they deal with your success? And you can't really change how they're going to look at you, but you can change how you respond to it.
Yeah, that has to be the hardest part of, starting to get famous, is just like, it's not really you that's changing, it's those around you. And you got to kind of decide when, helping them is going to have negative effects on what you're doing. You have to find a common balance between that, because if you don't, then, we've seen it with like MC Hammer, then there goes your downfall. You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden you're broke because you've been trying to help, the homies and, the auntie and the godbrother and, all this
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, do they appreciate it? How many times have you come to the well? How many times have they gone to the well? What do you have to get them? Another aspect of that, of what Cortez speaks on is, your friends, not just your family, not just being around for that drama, but also your friends and family. You've brought them in and you've wanted them to get checks. So you've brought them in some capacity to work, and now you're their boss. And the whole dynamic, you're not just their cousin, you're not their nephew, you're not the whatever, or you're not their best friend that you grew up with and went to elementary school, and you're now their boss and you're guiding a brand, and what role are they going to play? And just because you want your boy, your friend, or your family member to get a check, that doesn't necessarily mean they're qualified for whatever task you gave them to get that check. And I think that's a challenge we see rappers face over and over and over again, but again, going back to Sean, is like, you control your domain, you control how things work. So how you divvy out that money, how you deal with those relationships is all on you. And you do get pressure, and that's what this drama is. Maybe it's from your mom that you got to look out for this one or whatever, but it's how you set the tone from very early on is how you're going to be treated around the people around you. And are they going to appreciate that you're setting them up to get checks and that they're going to have to work for it, or they don't even think they should work for that kind of thing? I can imagine something that's not that cool to talk about, but something that a lot of guys deal with.
Yeah, Big Sean mentioned that he had to fire his best friend, which had to have been devastating. But at the same time, it was kind of what was better for him and his brand time.
It's having the right people around you, as Cortez says, having the right people around you, but also that it takes time to figure out who those people are.
Yeah,
you're not going to know
absolutely.
overnight where they're going to play their role or what they're going to be good at. Also, keep your circle to the people that have a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you need 3 people rolling with you everywhere that are all doing the same job? No. It's all those kind of things. And then with that, it's all the topics we spoke on. So it's spending extra money, it's wasting time, it's all that. But it's also the drama that's going to bring when you stop doing that. How people are going to be mad at you. You took them on the road and then you stop. You did this and then you stop. Because at some point you're going to have to stop, because you've gone too hard. So the idea is to be able to not get there to begin with.
Absolutely.
So having people around so they serve the purpose that they're supposed to serve seems essential. I think the whole thing that Cortez's point was is that you change. You change with all of this. You change your dynamic, your role. So how do the people change around you? And sometimes you have to eliminate people. Sometimes your just dynamic and relationship changes with them. Sometimes you won't have that relationship anymore. Sometimes you'll find value in people that you never knew existed or had that value. So I think it's going in, they're saying, with eyes open and being prepared for things to change. But again, you have to guide that change. As you being the celebrity and you being the force, it's you. The brand is your name. Mm-hmm. So it's got that power to it. All right, so let's move on to our last interview right now. Kevin Gates Yeah, he was all over the place. But let's see what Gates has to say.
You're a new artist, and you're not a new artist, but if you're a new artist and you're working on getting your record deal, you're working on getting yourself together, but you got a lot of drama around you, personal life. You got baby mama drama. You got record label people are pulling at you. You got your mom asking for rent money. What's the advice that you could give to artists about staying focused and putting the bullshit to the side?
That's a very great question. I like that question.
Thanks.
At this point in my life, everybody around me, and I'm not going to say they slipped on me, but everybody around me, they look at me like a cash cow. They don't see the hard work that I put in as an artist. They only see the success. So I have to be conscious of that fact, that they only see the success. And I also have to remember that I'm not wrong for telling anyone no, because I'm not in a position to where I can give someone something and it wouldn't hurt me. So right now I have to focus on myself first, and I have to save myself first. And then I could go back and touch those other individuals that need me. But if I can't get myself in position, then I can't put anyone else in position either.
Right.
And I noticed that with artists, like, they'll put out one album and then they'll start their own label. You haven't solidified yourself as an artist because, who cares that Kevin Gates has been putting out mixtapes since 2005? There's still a lot of people that don't even know who I am. They're still discovering who Kevin Gates is as an artist, as an individual. So that means I have to keep working 100 times harder, because you got 1 million people that don't want to see me in the position, and you have 1 million people that love that I'm in this position.
Right.
And the thing that's different with me is I put 100% focus into my music, my shows, my meet and greets now. My meet and greets are crazy now. And also my videos, my visuals. And the reason I do that because people were like, Kevin, you changed my life. Like, you changed my life. You showed me that I don't have to be stuck in my depression. So I have too many people right now that are looking at me as an example for me to even lose sight of what we came here for. I didn't know I was going to end up being a motivational speaker at my shows. I didn't know that. I just talked about the things that, I guess, my flaws. I put all my flaws on the table. And now that I'm open about it, and I've gotten comfortable with getting past it, other people look at it and they're like, man, they root for me, because they're like, you have to be a brave individual to do that. Like the brave little toaster, you have to be brave, to do those things.
You're a very positive person. How do you keep that energy up and that positivity when things aren't going your way?
I take a lot of happy drugs.
You take a lot of
happy drugs? Happy drugs.
Okay.
No, I'm just fucking with you. I had to realize that, like, my mind, psychologically, it became habit for me to fall into deep depression because of the things that I would think about. Like, for some reason, I would always focus on the things that hurt me. And when I reflect and think about the things that hurt me, I would go into these depressions. And now I focus on the things that make me happy. And if I do feel a negative thought coming, I'll do something with myself. I don't care if it takes me to, hey, stop the bus. I get out and do, if I got to get out and do 200 jumping jacks, Kevin, you're going to be happy if it kills you. You're going to be happy. Whatever it takes, though, to get your mind off the negativity. Because once you start focusing on the positive things and putting yourself around positive people, the world around you changes.
If there's anything that you are upset about, if you're bothered by something, if you have a fight with your wife, if you have any sort of problem going on, what do you do, or what's your advice for anybody? Yeah?
I'm going to be honest, I wish that the people that I started this with, I wish those people had the same vision as I did, because I've always told people this. I've never really had family, so the people that I look at as family, I love hard. And I wish that everyone that I started this with, I wish that they could be here to enjoy the success with me. But you know, like I say, it sucks that can't be.
But you got to keep pushing on. I mean, it's not about you staying focused and pushing to the next level.
Like this now. I look at it like this. We were in each other's lives for a season, but we shared something that will last a lifetime. And you keep going.
Right. On to the next, on to the next.
Going.
Much respect, but you keep it going.
You keep going.
And so how do you stay focused? How do you stay focused on the good? How do you stay focused on, you're going from A to B to C. How do you get from B to C and stay focused and not get caught up with money or haters?
I look at it as one goal at a time. I ain't gonna lie. When you say haters, I've been picked on, and I've been a misfit my whole life. So I'm cool with being me. I'm cool with being a nerd or whatever you want to talk about. I never fit in. I still don't. I was always the black sheep, so that's cool with me. But now I have a whole demographic of people that are misunderstood by the world, by society, whatever. And these are the people that come to my shows, the people that don't fit in. So now we're popular, and the people that did fit in, they're not. I made it cool to be this. I made it cool to be yourself.
Right.
That's where we at right now. But as far as me staying focused, I approach everything like a checklist. I knock out one goal at a time. I get my checklist for the day. We got radio at this time. We got this at this time. We got meet and greet at this time. We got to do this at this time. And we're going to check them and check them and check them. And that's what I stay focused on. I don't have time to be bothered with anything that's not helping the brand grow. Helping me explore, teaching me anything positive, because I love to learn. So if you're not teaching me nothing new about life or about anything, then I'm really going to just dismiss you and just keep walking.
So it's very much don't sweat the small stuff, right? I mean, don't worry about the little things.
Say it again?
It's very much like don't sweat the small stuff. Worry about the important things.
I mean, you got to think about it. Like, you got to think about it. I think Jay-Z said this. When hate don't work, they start telling lies. I didn't understand what he meant when he said that. Now I do.
Right.
I'll say that. I understand.
Describe it. What does it mean to you?
When you're in a position that anyone in the world would kill to be in. So you got to protect that position, and you got to go hard, and you got to understand there's people that's not going to like what you stand for, but who cares? We make great music. That's all we know.
All right, Miranda, we know you love Gates. I'm just kidding, but we know we love Gates over here in the office. What'd you think of what he had to contribute? By the way, he had a very strong album, and check that out. But what'd you think of his interview and what he said?
When he said, show your cards and live your truth, I couldn't think of anybody who kind of does that better. It's almost, kind of getting out all your flaws. I'm not saying that you have to I'm bad at this, I suck at this, but kind of just really not shielding who the true you is. So let's say, if something comes around, to bite you, it's kind of doesn't have that big of an effect because you've already showed us your truth and lived your truth. That's a great way to avoid, for example, if Fetty Wap would have came out and had a fake eye, and then all of a sudden we found out, oh my gosh, the eye's not real. That would have been devastation versus, us just loving him for who he is with that eye, which makes him even more of a special character.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Also, Kevin says he didn't know that he was going to end up a motivational speaker at his shows.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's for everybody.
Yeah.
That's the character he is as being, but that comes down to what he said is that, if I feel like I have a negative thought, I do what I can to take that negativity and get rid of it. So he's found a way, and I get the feeling from talking to him, it's not always been his case, to get rid of negative and live in the positive, which is something I know nothing about. And if he can do that, then he seems like he found more positive come to him. And I guess that's how you can be that motivational force or feel like you can play that role is if you're living in that kind of positive state of mind. And I would think in a world like this would be the place that would help you have that kind of positive state of mind, or being able to deal with all of the drama. If you could look at the brighter side of all of it, it could probably help you make those decisions and be more expectant for the situations as they happen.
Like Ferg said a few episodes ago, how can you not be happy, when you're living the rapper lifestyle? So
go figure. Somehow people find a way, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, that's all we got right now. And I think that is our last episode of this podcast. You know, we're going to do some more with some of the music for our second season. So please still send to XXL at xxlmag.com. Let us know what you think of the podcast. Let us know some other subjects that you'd be interested in, because this was pretty much the most important ones. We'll do a recap of the whole season and get that out there to you guys. And then, you know, looking into another season, we want to know what we didn't cover that you guys thought was interesting. So please, again, XXL at xxlmag.com. It's XXL's The Break, where new artists come first.
Yes, thank you for tuning in to season 1. It was awesome. And yeah, we appreciate you guys. Continue to send in your music, and see you at season 2.